Brittany, hi, Jim Delapine here. I'm going to give you some video feedback here on your character. So I see that you still have that dark draw in there, and you can see how there's no definition for the handles slash eyes, so it's very hard to see. So I don't know what your plans are with regards to, I believe you said you were going to reshoot that. So that would be ideal. Um, but let me show you what can be done with this. So with my move tool active and the auto select checked, if you click on any element, note that it goes right to that layer. It'll automatically go to that layer. So that's something to consider. So if I select this layer here, all right, so this is that layer with the drawer. So what I'm going to do is create an adjustment layer for that layer. Make sure you can see this. All right, which is what you'll need to do next week anyway, so I'm showing you in advance the advantage of it and how to do it. So with the head layer active, I'll click on this adjustment layer icon down here and I'll choose levels. Okay, the levels creates, you can adjust shadows, midtones, and highlights. Okay, so this is a reflection of that. This is what's called a histogram here. This is highlights, midtones, and shadows. Okay, so the first thing I need to do though is create a clipping mask out of it by holding on the Alt key and hovering above the line in between the levels adjustment layer and the head layer. So once you see that funky looking icon, just Alt click and that will attach itself and make itself a clipping mask. So any changes that occurs will occur only on that layer. So now what I'll do is I'll drag the highlight slider over to the left here. So notice how it's lightening it up, right? You could also maybe work with the midtones a little bit, but note that it's also affecting the wood here. So that's an issue. So you can do that. So what we could do is this. We'll do this, lighten it up, all right? This is in lieu of the fact that you don't have a lighter wood in the front of the drawer. So, all right, so we have that. So now with this layer mask active, I can do this. I can, whoops, let me go to my toolbar here. Let me bring this down here. Actually, let me get rid of that. Go to my toolbar and I will tip here with the paintbrush. If you hit the right bracket key, it will increase your brush size dramatically and quickly. So, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mask out this portion on the adjustment layer. So all I have to do is click and shift click. All right, so that means that now that adjustment is only affecting the front portion of that drawer. So that's pretty cool, right? So you can see it here. So, okay, so there's what we have. All right, so you may want to also work with this. All right, this layer here, the body. So I'll create, now this is what happens if we didn't make a clipping mask out of this. This is the result. All right, it affects every single layer. Okay, once I make a clipping mask by alt clicking between the layers, it only affects the underlying layer. All right, so let's go to the body, create a levels. I mean, you can have all kinds of options in there. All right, with regards to working with color and use saturation. So I'll immediately make that a clipping mask, and I'll just lighten this up a little bit. Okay, so this lighter wood, all right, you got that. Okay, all right, so now we have that, and now let's talk about, let's see, you have a little, I'll call it an arm, okay? So let's take this, the wand, okay. I'm going to take this, I'm actually going to duplicate this, so I'm going to hit Control J. That will duplicate that wand layer, and it's called wand copy. So I'll just drag it over here for now. But going back to this layer here, if I zoom in, I'll take this layer here and just move it over a little bit. Okay. Then with the layer mask active, going to my paintbrush, black is the foreground color, 100% hardness. Okay. And a smaller brush size, left bracket key, reducing. What I'm going to do is click and shift click. All right, so now it looks like it's going into this arm. I'll call it, I don't know, an arm, for lack of a better word. All right, so you may want to create a little shadow under there. So Before it was just kind of laying on the top, so now it's a little more realistic. So this one here, I know there's a little thing here, so let's see if we, well, we wouldn't see it, but note that if I select the background layer and Alt Delete fills with the foreground color, I can see the areas that, whoops, that you missed, which are far and few between. So you did a great job with that. So Control Delete fills with the background color. All right, let me select this, and I will go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. All right, and then what I'll do for variation, I'll hit Control T, and I'll just rotate this a little bit. All right, I'll put this right here. Zoom in. I mean, you don't have to do this. I'm just doing it because it kind of screams out for it. All right, so I will now select the layer mask, go to a paintbrush tool, and do the same thing to make it appear as if it's kind of in that wood, like there's a hole drilled in the wood, and this is sticking into it. Okay. All right. So yeah, I hope that helped. It's another perspective on it. All right. Take care.